the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Yeah.
I love that.
Those
That's
are always
that's
the
fantastic
best.
stuff. I love that for Boo, and he's right, because Boo Carter is he's an NFL type guy. Like Boo Carter's gonna be just fine. But that's funny. Is Vanderbilt, though? I've been thinking about this going in now that it is officially Vanderbilt week here. Ethan, is Vanderbilt a good or bad matchup for Tennessee based on the way Vanderbilt is built right now?
I'll add a third option. I'll say Vanderbilt is a terrifying matchup because they play. I'm not gonna now. That's not because Vanderbilt is some world killer, because they're just really not. If you look at, like, you hear the stuff and you see them beating Alabama and you see them in a bowl for the first time, I think, since 2018, and you just assume that they have it all figured out. It really is just, it's Diego Pavia. They don't turn the ball over. They don't commit penalties. They play really smart football. It's like, I kind of look at it as the peak of what, like, Army and Navy want to be. They just want to gain a few yards. They're not going to kill you with an explosive play. They just get a few yards and kind of grind you to death. I think their time of possession is also up there in the SEC. I don't know if it's first or second. It's up there. It's way up there. They hog the ball. They don't make mistakes. They grind you to death. And with the way that Tennessee starts games, if Vanderbilt can get the momentum in their favor and control the tempo of this game, that's horrifying. That's absolutely something that I feel like could put Tennessee in a bad situation if the dominoes fall a certain way. Now, I mean, you look at it on the flip side, and I alluded to it a bit earlier. Their defense is, like, their run defense is bad. Their secondary is even worse. It's a bottom 3 unit in the SEC. Their defense is a bottom 5 unit in the SEC. They're not as athletic. They're going to be playing at home in the state of Tennessee, where the Vols are probably once again going to overtake the stadium. And, like, it's just, this is a very weird Vanderbilt team, because, you see that they beat Alabama and you see that they danced with Texas, and then the last 2 weeks they got blown out by LSU and South Carolina. Not blown out by LSU, but blown out by South Carolina. It almost seemed as if, like, they get to 6 wins and they're like, all right, we got the bowl. Let's focus on Tennessee. Like, there's a chance that something like that happened, I feel like. And I don't know. I feel like this is a very Tennessee thing. Obviously, it's in the back of everyone's minds. Like, Tennessee's going, they have a chance to go to the college football playoff. The sole team in their way is Vanderbilt, who hasn't really done anything against us in a meaningful year in forever. And it would just be a fairy tale ending for them. It would be perfect for that to be Vanderbilt's crowning achievement to go out with this year. So, yeah, I don't think they're a good matchup for us. I think it's very scary.
Interesting. Ryan, do you agree?
Yeah, I lean that way for a lot of reasons Ethan has said. And he hit on this. Not a team that creates many chunk plays. A team that drives the ball slow down the field with a running quarterback that can make plays happen at any time. He's a little bit of a magician. And that's kind of the recipe, I feel like, to having success against Tennessee's defense. Tennessee doesn't give up a whole lot of chunk plays, but if you can find a way to convert third downs, which is hard. I mean, Tennessee's outside the Georgia game, Tennessee's third down defense has been very good. I think that would be one of my biggest keys for the game, is for Tennessee to get off the field on third down. And Vanderbilt's been exceptional offensively in the red zone. I mean, they've really capitalized. They've been balanced. I think it's 38 trips to the red zone. They have 36 scores, and I think it's like 26, 28 touchdowns, so a high clip of touchdowns, and they've been very balanced between running the ball. It's not like Arkansas, who was pretty good when they got in the red zone, but they could only run the ball. And you're like, all right, well, Tennessee's run defense is good enough. Do you feel good's going to hold up? They've been balanced there. I think it's Eli Stowers or Stowers.
Yeah,
Eli Stowers.
Pronounce his name. Stowers. Tight ends are top receiver. We've seen what tight ends can do, and Tennessee's issues with linebackers and safeties in coverage. I think all of that is reason for concern, and just the combination of Tennessee, it's one of the things that's been so great about Josh Heupel for his first couple of years. And now it's a thing that's like, all right, well, it's not a strength. Well, it's like, well, if you can score a lot of points, even if you're not great, we saw this in 2021. Perfect example. You can score a lot of points, even without a great defense. It's going to be hard for the bad teams in the SEC to hang with you, because they're just not good enough offensively, even against the bad defense, to score a lot. Well, it's just reverse now. Tennessee's offense doesn't score points. They scored 24. If you win 24 points or score 24 points, you might win a lot of games with a really good defense, but all the games are going to be close. And the way Vanderbilt shortens games, I have a hard time thinking this game won't be close against a Vanderbilt team that fully believes that they can pull off an upset, fully believes in themselves. And not that I think Tennessee's going to be lacking any confidence, but certainly all the pressure's on them in this game. So, and I guess the one other thing that I would add on that, Ethan's point, or kind of going against Ethan's point, their run defense is fine. Their run defense is 8th in the SEC. So not great by any means. A lot better than their pass defense. And look, when Tennessee can't just line up and run at you, they're pretty shaky offensively. So all of that makes me think they're not a very good matchup. But I would say, Tennessee's defense has been so good getting off the field on third downs besides the Georgia game, and Vanderbilt is so ball control dominant. If Tennessee can force Vanderbilt in the third and longs and get off the field, I do think their defense can be pretty dominant just because of the lack of explosive plays that Vanderbilt creates.
I mean, Vanderbilt's given up the second most 20-plus yard plays in conference play this season. The chunk plays, I think, will be there if Tennessee wants them. I don't think Tennessee's offensive line should struggle in this matchup. I think, to Ethan's point,
pass rush.
Yeah, I think they're going to run the ball on Vanderbilt. Now, I'm curious what that rotation looks like. I'm going to guess we're going to see, because Samp had less than 20 carries this week. I think you're going to see...
He had 11 carries. I know you were rejoicing, Chase.
Oh, yeah.
Which is accurate. You should have been. They handled it exactly how they should have.
Yeah.
Yes. Dylan Sampson, I think this week, my gut is we're going to... I think it's going to be in the 30s. I really do. I think Peyton Lewis has been a great story.
More. I can't get enough Dylan Sampson. That's going to be Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley on Saturday.
If it was a home game, they should have done a promotion where it's if Dylan Sampson gets 35 carries, everybody in Neyland Stadium gets a free chicken sandwich or something. I don't know. They should have done some kind of just to have people going nuts. Because I think he's going to get Dylan Sampson is going to get a heck of a lot of carries on Saturday, and I think Dylan Sampson is probably going to have to take this team home on Saturday. But like I said, Tennessee has not been turning the ball over. Tennessee's not been putting themselves in a bad spot. Tennessee's special teams has been really good. I think, and I wonder if y'all agree with this, if this was in Knoxville on Saturday, I think all three of us would be like, oh yeah, Tennessee's going to win big. I don't think there's a question that this is oh yeah, Tennessee they'll win. This will be a 42-14 type deal at home. And it doesn't actually feel like 42-14, but they just coast to 42-14. You're like, oh, wow, Tennessee actually won by 4+ touchdowns. Okay. But I think in Nashville, and just seeing Texas struggle, obviously seeing Alabama go down in Nashville, it's just more of an also SEC teams went 1-5 in the conference. Only Missouri won on the road this week. So that's all up in play. But also, if you're a Tennessee fan, you feel good because you're like, maybe that was last week. Everybody went down last week, but now lightning striking twice here, a little bit more unlikely. But part of me just feels like we're overthinking this. It feels kind of like 2 years ago when Vanderbilt had some juice down the stretch, and I think Kirk Herbstreit picked Vanderbilt to beat Tennessee 2 years ago, and then Tennessee proceeded to take that personally in the rain and run for a gazillion yards on Vanderbilt. And I understand it's a little bit different, but this is a rivalry that Tennessee just it feels kind of like Kentucky to me, where it's going to go. And they're kind of like Kentucky now, the way they're built this season, where ball control, borderline triple option offense. There's not a lot of downfield stuff. The offense doesn't have a lot of juice, but if you have a fun quarterback like Diego Pavia, then it will keep you in some games here. But I just think it's going to be like the Kentucky games of the last two road matchups for Tennessee, where I think they're going to hang around. I think they're going to be amped up for this game. But I think ultimately Tennessee is going to find a way to win. I just think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to be nauseating that Tennessee wins 28-24 or something, and they just sneak in. And you're just like, at least that's over. At least we're in. That's my gut. But, man, I think fans want this to not be a heart palpitation type game on Saturday in Nashville, and I can't promise that. I just don't think that's the way it's going to go. I don't think Tennessee's blowing them out.
Yeah,
I can't
think it's going to be awful.
Yep.
The only good thing is that at least it's a noon game.
Yeah.
So it's just you get it, you get up and you play it and get it over with. At least you don't wait and it's 11:30 at night and the game is still.
That's true.
His season's up on the line with Diego Pavia driving with 5 minutes left in the game down 4. Can you imagine? The hardest? Someone might die in the state of Tennessee if it was 11:30 at night and they were liquored up. And Tennessee's season's on the line with this magician this magician from New Mexico driving to try to steal Tennessee's playoff bid.
Oh my gosh! It also protects Tennessee fans from Broadway on Saturday night. If this was a night game, and that's how it ends. If Diego Pavia just goes down and would they do double goalpost? Is this a double goalpost situation if they beat Tennessee in the spot?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, yes, but all the New England elites that attend Vanderbilt University will probably be home for Thanksgiving and not able to spurn that trip. The East Coast elites.
But yeah, I think we all agree, right? Like Tennessee's gonna win. Tennessee should win.
I'll be picking Tennessee to win.
I will.
How confident am I going to be in that? I don't know, Jim. But 24-20 Vols is my Monday thought. But yeah, I
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.